Kremlin yesterday warning that Western nations supplying Ukraine with weapons will face retaliation. Also, that Moscow could provide long-range weapons to its allies to hit Western targets in response. So the threats are many coming from Putin. He also would not rule out using nuclear weapons.
Russian President Vladimir Putin warns again that Russia is considering sending weapons to the adversaries of the United States. And this is in response to the U.S. providing Ukraine with missiles to strike Russia. Russia now saying, if you are doing that, why can't we do the same and send it to your enemies? Now, I shared with you live yesterday that we had received a list of various nations of which Russia is considering doing this. Some of the ones that were mentioned was Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, Yemen, Iran, Serbia, Nicaragua, and Mexico. And in addition to that, we're hearing that Belarus is running alongside of Russia the second stage of tactical nuclear weapons drills in response to the Western provocation. Tactical nuclear weapons include air bombs, warheads for short-range missiles, and artillery munitions as well. So I'm going to be sharing with you the latest video footage and articles coming out on this, getting you caught up as to what has been unfolding with Russia threatening the United States, saying that they're going to be sending weapons, even potentially nuclear weapons, to our enemies and allowing them to do with it what they wish.
Kremlin yesterday.
All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who teach Ruel, peace and infinite salutations to the elect that are scattered abroad doing this work in truth and in sincerity, teaching the names of Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai, and prophesying against Mount Seir. I'm the brother of Al Gabar from the Camp Company of Prophets here in Tampa, Florida. Coming at you with a quick lesson, a World War III update. All right, you saw the post-production video of the newscasters and the guy talking about how Russia is preparing to arm these other nations what could possibly be with nuclear weapons. And we know that according to the Bible prophecy that Russia plays a major part, all right, and Russia is going to be used to take this place, Mystery Babylon the Great, off of the map, all right? So, and this is just more rumors of wars, man, okay? Be alert, though, okay? Because World War III is going to take place, all right? You see the title of the lesson, warning, be alert. Russia to arm the enemies of the United States with nukes, what ties in right with Bible prophecy, going to Ezekiel 38, which is that's exactly where we're going to start at. All right, so let's go there. Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1, it says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Okay, and let me just do a quick Google search. All right. Which we know that Gog and Magog is talking about Russia. Okay. That's the land of Russia. All right, that's going to be used to take out Mystery Babylon the Great. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this picture up. It's not letting me. All right. Let me try to find another one real quick. Bear with me. Gog and Magog. All right, which is going to be used in Bible prophecy. The Lord, like the scriptures tell you, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. Right now, the Lord is stirring up all these nations, the kings of these nations, to get ready to fight this Third World War, okay, which is going to take place, man, okay, very soon. Let's see if this will pop up. All right, let me share my screen. Yeah, nah. Oh, these pictures are really fucking small, man. But you can just Google it. You can just like I'll show you the screen so you can see it. Gog and Magog. I was trying to pull this picture up right here, but it's not pulling up. But Gog and Magog is prophesied to come up against the land of Israel and the land of Mystery Babylon, the Great America, primarily America. All right, that's why you have what's happening now. You got these Russian warships that are right in America's backyard because this war is heating up. Back to the prophecy, Ezekiel 38:2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. It says, and say, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, so the Lord is against Russia. All right, and the Lord is using Russia to usher in this Third World War. All right, and we know we got a major prophecy that has to happen first. The mark of the beast, before these missiles ultimately drop, you're going to have that digital currency, the RFID CHIP, be mandated. But it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. All right, notice how it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, because the Lord is the one who's doing this. The Lord is saying, look, I'm going to draw Russia into this war, okay? I'm going to do this, all right? It says, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords, all right? All these different militaries are going to be drawn into this war. But Russia primarily is going to be a guard to these other nations. And you heard in the video, let's play it again.
That Western nations supplying Ukraine with weapons will face retaliation. Also, that Moscow could provide.
Right, because right now America keeps funding Ukraine, and now America is, giving weapons to Ukraine, and Ukraine is using these weapons against Russia. So Russia's like, yo, we're done with this shit, okay? We've had enough, all right? So you guys are arming Ukraine. Well, why don't we arm Iran? That's the mentality of Russia. Why don't we arm Cuba? Why don't we arm Mexico? Why don't we arm these other nations that are your enemies?
Western nations supplying Ukraine with weapons will face retaliation. Also, that Moscow could provide long-range weapons to its allies to hit Western targets in response. So the threats are many coming from Putin. He also would not rule out using nuclear weapons.
Russian President.
Right, and ultimately this thing is going to turn nuclear, man, okay? Nuclear warfare is going to take place in the near future, man, okay? And that's going to bring the plague. And there was a time where even Putin had brought out the scripture, and this shall be the plague. What is that? Let me grab that real quick. He actually brought this scripture out, which goes to show you that Putin knows, he knows what's up. Okay, a little something, something. This plague. And I'm just going with the spirit, so bear with me, brothers. This is Zechariah 14:12. And keep in mind, Putin had brought this scripture out before. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And what is going to be the weapon used to bring that plague is going to be the ICBMs, the nuclear missiles. Okay. So we entering into some serious times, man, and all these prophecies are about to be fulfilled, okay? And we've been telling you that all this stuff was gonna happen, man. Okay. Let me see if I can find this real quick. So we entering into this war of Armageddon. Okay. Yeah, you could search it up. After I just found it. Let me just read the headline. I'm gonna share the screen real quick. All right, this is the headline. Putin threatens to bring Zechariah's flesh rotting nuclear war. Okay. And that's the scripture I just read, Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague, okay, wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And we know Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. And the real Israelites, the true Jerusalem, true Israel, are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So this is really the Lord doing this for his people, okay? And we will be delivered from this third world war, Lord willing, we of the elect. You know, right now we're the hopeful elect, and we're hoping that we be delivered, because anybody on the shore of America, when these missiles drop, you're going to be engulfed in flames, okay? And things are heating up. Every day that comes on, every day that goes on, we one day closer to this war ultimately popping off, man, all right? So that's why we got to stay diligent. But let's go back to Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 38:4. It says, and I will turn thee back. All right, this is talking about Gog and Magog, which today is the land of Russia, talking about Putin in Russia. All right, it says, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So these nations are going to be joined unto Russia. Okay, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, they're going to be joined unto Putin. Okay, and Putin is going to arm these other nations with these weapons, man, to bring utter destruction. It says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia is going to play a major part in prophecy of being a guard unto these smaller nations, okay, by arming them. Let's play the video again.
Putin warns again that Russia is considering sending weapons to the adversaries of the United States.
And this is Bible prophecy, okay? See, everything is tying in perfectly with the scriptures, man. Okay, you got a lot of naysayers and unbelievers, you know, in the last days, but that's all right. That fits into prophecy as well, that there was going to be a lot of unbelievers. All right, but now we're seeing everything unfold. Russia arming other nations with nuclear weapons is part of the Bible. It's part of Bible prophecy unfolding. So everything is happening right before our very eyes. We just read it, okay? That Gog and Magog was going to be a guard unto these smaller nations, okay? And that's what's going to happen.
And this is in response to the U.S. providing Ukraine with missiles to strike Russia. Russia now saying, if you are doing that, why can't we do the same and send it to your enemies? Now, I shared with you live yesterday that we received a list of various nations of which Russia is considering doing this. Some of the ones that were mentioned was Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, Yemen, Iran, Serbia, Nicaragua, and Mexico. And in addition to that, we're hearing that Belarus is running alongside of Russia the second stage of tactical nuclear weapons drills in response to the Western provocation. Tactical nuclear weapons include air bombs, warheads for short-range missiles, and artillery munitions as well.
All right, so this thing's heating up, all right? And Putin ain't fucking off no more, okay? Putin's getting tired of what's going on, all right? So they're going to ultimately, Putin's going to start arming these other nations, okay? So let's go to Joel 3:2. It says, It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. So this is what the Lord is going to do. The Lord is going to gather all these nations and bring them down to the Middle East. Something major is going to pop off. Okay, we already see what's going on with Israel and Palestine, and things are heating up over there. Russia, it might get involved. Okay, and ultimately Russia is going to get involved at the end of all of this. It says, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel. So the Lord is going to plead with all the world for his people Israel. Okay, let's listen to it again.
That Western nations supplying Ukraine with weapons will face retaliation. Also, that Moscow could provide long-range weapons to its allies to hit Western targets in response. So the threats are many coming from Putin. He also would not rule out using nuclear weapons.
Russian President Vladimir Putin warns again that Russia is considering sending weapons to the adversaries of the United States. And this is in response to the U.S. providing Ukraine with missiles to strike Russia. Russia now saying, if you are doing that, why can't we do the same and send it to your enemies? Now, I shared with you live yesterday that we had received a list of various nations of which Russia is considering doing this. Some of the ones that were mentioned was Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, Yemen, Iran, Serbia, Nicaragua, and Mexico. And in addition to that, we're hearing that Belarus is running alongside of Russia the second stage of tactical nuclear weapons drills in response to the Western provocation. Tactical nuclear weapons include air bombs, warheads.
All right, so let's keep reading. This is Joel 3:2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, okay, over there in the Middle East, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, all right, the true Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right now, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were scattered all over the earth pursuing the Bible prophecy, okay, and that's where the Lord is going to gather us from all four corners of the earth, primarily here in Mystery Babylon the Great, also known as America. America is in the Holy Bible, okay, and it's prophesied that America will be utterly wasted away with fire, thermonuclear missiles, man. That's going to cause a lake of fire, okay? It says, I'm going to jump down to the book, same book, Joel 3:9. It says, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war. And that's what the Lord is doing. Okay, and this is what the prophets, starting with our elder apostles on down, we are proclaiming war. War is coming, okay? This party and bullshit, living your best life, you know, party, all of that shit is going to be out the window soon, okay? The elder Manat Zakba recently just did a video, actually try to pull it up, going into the draft. Okay, a draft is coming, man. All right, so be prepared for that too. All right, let me see if I could find it. Yeah, here we go. I got it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this video as well, because we're coming into a time like never before, man. All right, but it says Joel 3:9, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, meaning, you know, get your weapons prepared. You know, plowshares and pruning hooks are like farming tools, but they're going to be turned to swords and spears going into, you know, get prepared for war. Okay. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong, right? Because now these once weak nations like Iran, you know, you got Iran, you know, after these African nations, all these nations are seen as weak, but now they have, like Iran's a good one, that have nuclear weapons. Okay, so let the weak say, I am strong. Now these once weak nations, they have nuclear power that they're getting from Russia. Okay, it says Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, the other nations, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that word Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Lord's judgment. Okay, but get ready for this military draft as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this. Y'all check this out as well.
Men. I hope Gen Z is listening. Automate selective service registration for all men. I hope Gen Z is listening to this one, and Gen Alpha. And I hope people who have kids who are Gen Alpha are listening to this one. Now, to be fair, if you're a dude, you got to sign up for the draft either way. There hasn't been one in 50 years, so most people aren't worried about it. But I'm pretty sure if there's a World War III coming and the U.S. thinks it may be the case, yeah, they're going to draft all of you. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I'm old. I am 38. And so I don't gotta worry about it. When you're between like 18 and 26, you're just like, oh, I hope a war doesn't break out where they're gonna make me fight it. And I don't gotta go fight for these crackpots. But Gen Alpha and Gen Z will have to.
What is the cutoff for?
Well, they
and how are we defining men in the modern vernacular?
So it'll go forever, right? If
it's needed, it's just
right. Like Ukraine's drafting women now and the elderly. That's what Ukraine is pulling women and the elderly to the front lines, and they don't give them. There's no training. They grab a guy off the street. There's videos of them they'll grab a guy off the street and be like, "You're going to war," and then people freak out like, "What's happening?" They put him in a uniform, hand him a gun, and say, "Go," and then they're just cannon fodder. But they don't care. The U.S. certainly doesn't care. NATO doesn't care. So here's the story. A new plan from House lawmakers would automatically register men for a potential military draft when they hit 18, avoiding potential legal consequences connected to failing to file the paperwork at a proper time. Language included in the House Armed Service Committee's draft of the annual defense authorization bill would mandate the automatic registration of all males between 18 and 26 living in America in the selective service system, the federal database used for a military draft in the case of a national emergency. It hasn't been used for that purpose in 52 years, but men who fail to register can face a host of legal consequences. Now, I wonder what would be happening right now where you have a Democrat, Chrissy Houlihan, sponsoring the automatic registration language, calling it both a money-saving and common sense reform. Why? I tell you this, I can assure you right now, the majority of young men will never agree to fight in a nation where women do not have to, but are granted equal say in government, politics, and favored in courts. There is a huge issue right now with the rise of the likes of Andrew Tate and Pearl Davis, and now you got Homath, and these channels exist for a reason. Young men are not happy with the disproportionate, the second-class citizen system that as related to things like selective service. You go to an 18-year-old guy and say, you will be forced to fight and die for a country because a female politician who does not have to do it mandated you do so. Now you go back in time and a guy says, I am going to go fight and die, and you're expected to do the same. And a lot of guys were like, it's our duty. We all do it. Now you have a system where you have a bunch of elite multimillionaire women like Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats who would vote in favor of this. Not to mention older guys who don't have to fight, telling young men they have to go fight and die. One of the big reasons why the draft is not popular in the first place is because you have elite older men forcing young people to go fight and die for them and their wars, and they don't have to. I say we take it all the way back to the 1900s when they tried passing this bill. I think it was an amendment that said if you vote in favor of war, you have to go fight for it. They said, we'll put an amendment saying we vote on whether to declare war directly, and then if you vote yes, you're conscripted on the spot. It's going to be interesting to see what happens right now with the current state of, how young men are viewing the world and the rise of these angry young men who are pissed off about this system.
Are politicians exempt from drafts?
Well, no, it's an age thing. There's
right, but if you're younger, so you're
not going to be in Congress if you're under 25.
Right.
So they're drafting only young guys, and typically people who can't afford to pay someone to go in their stead. That's what they used to do back in the day. If you were rich, you could pay someone to go to the draft for you. So if you got called in, they'd be like, okay, here's money. He'll do it. Yep. But I don't know if it's actually going to take off or if it's going to happen. But I do think it's interesting that they're actively trying to do it right now of all times.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think it's fair for men to quit.
All right, so you heard that. All right, get ready for a draft. We see all this stuff happening. Okay, and I'm gonna play the elders video, Elder Manatazakba. I'm gonna play a little bit of that. But I did a quick Google search. Okay, American military at an all-time low. As of December 2023, the U.S. military is facing record low recruitment numbers, with 2024 expected to be the smallest active duty force since 1940. The Department of Defense, the DoD, reported that the military missing its recruiting goals by 41,000 people during the 2023 fiscal year, affecting the Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Marine Corps, however, met their goals. So right now, the military, the American military ain't doing so well. Okay. They're not recruiting as they once used to recruit. Okay. People aren't trying to join the military. So there is going to come a time where there's going to be a draft. Okay. And because what are we entering into? A time of war. Okay. It's a time of war. Okay. Let me grab this real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So there's a time and place for everything. Jumping down to verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Right now, we're in a time of war. Okay, and things are heating up. Every day that goes on, shit is heating up, man. Okay, and you see the elders video. It says a military draft, the meat grinder needs more souls. And that's all it is, okay? And you're going to hear the elder Manatazakba go into it a little bit, because I'm going to play a little bit of his video. How, what they're doing over there in Ukraine is they're just handing anybody a gun. Whether you old, young, women, they throwing you a gun, they're picking you up off the street and throwing you into this war. Okay, you don't have no experience on how to shoot a gun, and they're throwing you right into the middle of the war. Well, that's the times we're coming into for America. Now, it might not get that bad, but there is going to be a draft that's coming, man. Okay, and let me grab this real quick before I play the elders video. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and 32. It says, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. Right? Because in a time of war, the grinding is going to cease. All the work, these landscapers, ain't going to be no landscaping going on. There's going to be war. So the grass is going to be overgrown, like they show you in the movie I Am Legend. Okay? Which, by the way, they're actually, I believe they're coming out with a second one. And Lord willing, if it comes out in time before the missiles drop, But it says, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right? Because during this time of war, even these women that you might have a husband right now, when the draft comes, they gonna send your husband off to war. And if your husband if you get sent off to the Middle East to fight in this war, you're not coming back. He's not coming back. Okay, he's missile food. He's done. Okay, and it's the times we are entering into. Okay, and the wars, their bridegrooms shall be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. A famine's coming as well. Okay, and hey, this place is gonna be desolate, left desolate. But let me play a little bit of Elders video.
In this video, we're going to talk about the military draft. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. This video will be entitled Military Draft. The meat grinder needs more souls. The meat grinder needs more flesh. Currently, you have in Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine war, people have begun being drafted. As you heard this video talking about it, the coming draft here, a bill being proposed by Congress. But it's just a matter of time. That's just a preliminary. Now they're taking people in Ukraine, and they're grabbing them off the streets. Elderly, I don't know how old, but they're older people, women, and they're handing them a gun. Like these guys said, they're not even training them, and I believe it. Now, will it get to that bad in America? I don't think so, but we know that there's going to be Armageddon, there's going to be war, there's going to be a World War III, and many people in America, Babylon the Great, are going to get drafted and fight. You're going to have to go there and fight and die. It's no mistaking, and they call that thing the Great Meat Grinder. What's going on currently with Ukraine and Russia?
All right, so you can check out the Elder's video. His channel is GMS South Carolina 08 military draft. The meat grinder needs more souls. Go ahead and check that out. But I'm gonna go ahead and close it out with this last scripture. This is Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, so World War III is coming quickly, and Russia was prophesied to be a guard unto these other small nations, and we're witnessing that as the days go on. Russia's had enough, so they're like, you know what, America, you're over here arming Ukraine, so why don't we just arm Iran? Why don't we arm these African nations? Why don't we arm Cuba? Okay, so things is heating up. Okay, and like I said, you just recently had where Russian warships, you have a nuclear submarine over there by Cuba right now in America's backyard. Okay, and only Yahweh Shai knows what's really going on in Cuba. Russia might be arming them with weapons right now as we speak. Okay, so things is heating up. World War III is heating up, and these are all rumors of wars, signs of the end, the beginning of sorrows. All right, so be alert. Okay, and dive into the word, dive into the scriptures, man. Okay, time is short, time is running out, and hey, we rejoice when we see these prophecies being fulfilled, man. Okay, so all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Lord willing, was edifying to the hope we elect. Continue to fight, push forward. This is it. All right, this is it. We're closing in on the last days of this thing, man. Okay, the mark of the beast is right around the corner. Okay, if this war is heating up like this, Russia's arming these other nations. Just imagine how close the mark of the beast is, man. Okay, Jacob's trouble. All right, so with that, till next time, shalom.